Okay, well, there have been a lot of false starts. Let me tell you that. Maybe that's something you've kind of had to deal with. So, this reading is done with the intention of those in mind whose names did not get called in the TikTok giveaway that I did. So, this is that reading for the collective whose names did not get called. And even if your name did get called, but you want to watch and resonate, you might resonate with it, whatever. But the intention is for all of those because I want to pick everybody, and I know I can't. I haven't even done that video picking names yet. That's next, but um, I know I'll probably pick at least 8, like not just 2, like I said. Anyway, so this is my way of trying to give to everyone. But there's something about, okay, so I did a thing that I don't usually do. I made notes as I was kind of pulling the first couple of decks. I made notes, and then when I was pulling the last of the oracle cards, the last of the notes came through. Um, I don't usually make notes, but for whatever reason. But the false start had to do with revealing the information on the notes. So this is literally my third try to make this video. And I decided I'm not going to share the notes I made until after. So that could even be part of the message. Something you've been doing, just wait to reveal some kind of information or do something differently, or even if it takes you a couple of false starts. Third time's the charm, right? I think the other thing that kind of disarmed me was this lover's card, like right out of the gate. It's like a freaking course. There you are, whatever. But especially because the Ace of Swords is underneath it, it feels very much like self love, self integration. But also, for the first 2 false starts, I really got a good look at this card. And so I can see that the other figure here is more of a shadow figure. So it's like there's some kind of story that you've been telling. And if there's something repeating in your life that you don't like or that you want to change, ask yourself why you keep telling that story. Because you are the one telling the story. Your thoughts, your words, your actions, those things tell your story. But I also feel like there is some way that you've been undervaluing yourself, but it's also kind of giving the energy of when people leave your life, they lose your light that's automatically illuminated on them. And so that could also be kind of what puts them into shadow. But in that moment, when they know true and well that you are gone, they instantly know they fucked up. They know that they were not the main character they thought they were. That you were the main character. You were the star of the show. And maybe it's even talking about someone needing to do shadow work around relationships. And I feel like you've kind of done that. And again, it's about the story you tell in your relationships, what type of person you keep attracting to yourself, and how you're handling it, how you're moving through your triggers and the heartbreak. And really it feels like a self-empowerment type thing, because it does feel like there have been fractured off parts of yourself, and they are integrating, and you're becoming more whole in a very spiritual sense, in a soul essence type of way, if that even makes sense. It's like coming home to yourself is what I just heard. What crosses that is the Five of Pentacles. There has definitely been some kind of disconnection. You felt different. You've been different. You've been the outcast. You know what it's like not exactly to fit in. But there's also been some kind of disconnect between the physical work that you've been doing and the financial reward that you've been getting for that work. You haven't been seen. You have been undervalued. But I honestly want to say I hope this doesn't come off harsh, but that starts with you. You have to start seeing yourself as more valuable before anyone else can. And if someone crosses the line and disrespects your value, slap a boundary on their ass. But I really feel like this is not undervaluing yourself. I feel like that's kind of been a thing. That's kind of been a thing, undervaluing yourself in relationships. Again, once these other people leave your life, they no longer feel your light. They no longer feel that warmth. They're bathed in shadows and they're disconnected. But it feels like that re-energizes you. I do feel like there's been this huge shift, not just shift in mindset, but shift in the way you approach certain things in your life, even creating healthy habits and healthy boundaries for yourself and sticking to those. So I feel like self-love has been a hell of a process for you, but there is very much this feeling of coming home to yourself. But I feel like you're also not just speaking your truth, but you're probably going to be finding out a lot of truth. A lot of unexpected truth is going to be revealed. So you're going to have an x-ray right on people and be able to probably see and even feel their false words immediately. I think it's also about trusting your intuition, trusting your gut, trusting your body. Nine of Swords in the passing influence, you did it scared. You did it scared. I do think at some point there was something blocked and hidden away, and like fear of failure, fear of success. There was a lot of even childhood. I lost the word. I totally lost the word. Conditions. I think I think that's it. There were a lot of negative programming, I think is the actual word I was looking for. A lot of negative programs that you had to rewrite. And again, it's about telling this story of yourself. So maybe you really should be telling your story if you haven't, or if you are, continue to tell your story because that's where the magic happens, baby. You did it scared. You pushed through. You overcame. And it does kind of feel like the deck was stacked against you in some way. I think especially when it comes to mindset and the way you spoke to yourself and the things you told yourself, the things that you held on as your truth, there has been this process of throwing that shit in the garbage and recognizing that wasn't your truth and really standing on business, raising your freaking prices, standing on business. What's on your mind is the Star, which actually the Star is my favorite card in the deck. And I did say you're the star of the show. So that one definitely didn't come out. I didn't get that far in the first two attempts. So look, Ma, we made it. You made it over that initial hump. So like trust in yourself because you've literally overcome everything that you've been through. You have this way, this magic about you. And like you think you're so ordinary and really there's so much magic flowing through your veins. Every ancestor you had that it took to have sex to make you to be here to exist, to be the freaking star of the show, to do what no one else in your family did. I also heard outshine your generation. I don't know what that necessarily means. Maybe like cousins or like your generation and like your friend group or whatever, however that applies. But This is also about the calm after the storm. So it does feel like a very peaceful mindset has descended upon you. And I think it's such a far cry from the chaos and the negativity that you came from. Sometimes it could even feel too quiet, but I feel like there's so much meaning in the waiting. And there is so much wisdom in the silence. And I think it's learning to really protect your peace, to be okay with the silence and know that there is something being unlocked here. And so you will start to receive messages. And once you start to receive them, they're really going to start coming in fast. So it's going to be like once you open the tap, it just overflows. Literally, it overflows. The Ten of Wands. That's a lot of weight. But like you don't even look bothered. Because I feel like you've carried heavier things than this before. But I also feel kind of a tiredness. So I feel like you're going to get to the point of really prioritizing what deserves your focus and what deserves your energy and laying down what's no longer your responsibility. I think there are things that you've been carrying that have kind of reached their end point. This is the final push through. And that I had to look at my note like, wait, there was a message about that came through. This is the final push through. It feels like it's been such a long road. Like wow, you've done so much more than you realize. I feel like my throat's getting all gravelly and like almost raw, but it doesn't really hurt. Maybe I just needed a drink, but maybe there's something about that too. About the raw gravity of your voice. I don't even know what that means. But there's a quality, something about when you speak. Maybe even when you sing. And I think that's such a power move, to sing to the universe. I feel like when you serenade the universe is like, okay, let me show you how good it can get. Loud and clear, baby. But I do feel like you're kind of prioritizing some things. Maybe prioritizing yourself, really, your happiness, your peace, and laying down things. But again, this is the final push through. So you are so much stronger than you realize. So much more aligned than you realize also. So the way you see the situation is the Eight of Swords, which I think is extremely interesting because I did talk kind of about the past programming that you kind of had to overcome and the conditioning, and you really had to reparent and relearn a lot of shit, especially when it comes to your mindset and to your perspective of the way that you see things. And that's where the real power lies, the power of your perspective. It's not the situation. It's not the situation that's hurting you. It's your perspective of it. And again, I think it kind of goes back to that. What's the story you keep repeating to yourself? Why do you keep telling that story? Is that story important to you? Do you think something needs played out in that story? Is there something unfinished about it? Like, figure out why you keep writing the same story or the same ending to the same story. And when you get sick of doing that, rewrite a new ending, rewrite a new story, rewrite a new version of you. I feel like the possibilities are endless. It does kind of feel like this rebirth energy also. The way other people see the situation is Six of Swords. And when I first saw this, it's like, yeah, okay, other people do see that you're kind of going somewhere, that you got a lot of oomph, grit, a lot of moxie. the, the words are inadequate. But I also have this feeling of someone kind of saw you as an easy pass to their ascension, but they were dead wrong because your ancestors don't play about you. And nobody is going to ride on your curtails to their own ascension. They're not, no. And I feel like there could even be a message in there about losing or moving away from different people or situations in your life, because where you're going, they simply cannot. They cannot attend the party. They are not on the frequency. They've not yet been invited because they've got some shadow work to do. The shit you've been really digging into. I keep saying baby, and it makes me think, it reminds me, I literally just made a a video, and I said baby, and I was like, okay, nobody puts baby in a corner, so I want to say that here. Nobody puts baby in a corner. They're not going to ride your coattails. Like, no. They thought you were a fast pass to ascension, but they didn't know all the work that was involved, all the literal shit that you've had to overcome. Like, The emotions of the situation is Six of Pentacles. So that's kind of interesting. We got a 6 and a 6 there, so double 6. This bro totally looks like Jesus. So the Six of Pentacles is karmic payback. It's payback. It's financial payback. Dude, Jesus is paying you back. Jesus is the payback. There's some kind of emotional work or healing or process, like healing emotional attachment wounds, or even like learning to regulate your nervous system, and like really working on yourself and balancing your emotions, and really learning the art of becoming unbothered. That has kickstarted something. It's been the catalyst for this incredible change within you. But the change has started on the internal, especially with your perspective, your mindset. I wanted to say mindset. I feel like I've tried to say that before. I feel like you're about to be paid back for something. And maybe that even goes hand in hand of not undervaluing yourself, raising your prices. But I do feel like there's going to be some kind of financial gift or some kind of even emotional gift. Maybe coming from an older person, coming from some kind of like, not necessarily a religious figure, but a spiritual figure. Because I think we all know by now there is a difference between religion and spirituality. Fight me. No, don't. I'm a lover, not a fighter. But there's definitely, you're being seen for something. You're going to be seen for something. And that even kind of goes along with the star of the show. Your star is shining bright. The attention is going to be shined upon you. The spotlight is going to be on you. This is your moment. You're ready for it. Oh my God, you're so ready for it. This is what you've been grinding for. This is what you've been working for. Baby, your ancestors don't play. The final outcome is Knight of Pentacles. Man, that's putting in the work. Like literally putting in the work, planting seeds for your future. You done been on this grind. This is the rewards of your efforts. But it's also protecting your assets And I think in that, as I say that, I hear you are one of your greatest assets. So learning to protect yourself, protect your energy, protect your heart, protect your work, even. I think there's going to be a lot here about moving in silence, because I did have an issue with sharing the notes before I kind of started the reading. And so once I kind of put the notes, I decided, no, I'm not really going to share until the end. Then I was able to kind of push through to get to even this point. So that's kind of the same energy of moving in silence. Making the moves, but not telling anyone, not receiving any outside validation, because it does feel like this process you've had to validate yourself. And I also feel like this is eerily similar to a lot of the readings I've done lately. So maybe you've really aligned with those. But also, I do feel like it is repeated messages. Like the same messages keep getting repeated. And it's almost like your guides are laughing, like, you're hard headed. What do you expect us to do? We're going to keep repeating ourselves. Like, hey, yeah. You get it yet? Can you hear me now? The overall energy is Nine of Cups, which high key love that. That's wish fulfillment. Ten of Swords is right under that. And that, I think, at first seems really like almost scary. So there could be this huge trigger and your fears come up. But my instinct is asking me, what's behind that Ten of Swords though? What's behind this martyrdom? What's behind this victim mentality, this mindset? Because we know that's not who you are anymore. You've already overcome this Nine of Swords. So when a trigger pops up, don't automatically freak out. Know that you're not going to react the same, because you're not the same person. Ask yourself, what's behind this trigger? What's behind this Ten of Swords? Because wish fulfillment. So that's so much validation, especially because through the whole process you've had to validate yourself and kind of move in silence and not tell everybody your business. What's behind the Ten of Swords? The Tower. Okay, I didn't expect that. The thing with the Tower is the Tower clears the path ahead. The Tower is often the obstacle in the way, and once the Tower has been cleared, the way ahead is actually opened up. And I like there's a lot of flowers on there, so there's a lot of new life. And there's even, I think on some levels, there's celebration, because those could look like fireworks, and 4th of July is kind of coming up. So it does feel like there is some kind of final release or let go, but there's some kind of celebration attached to that, some kind of new beginning or new life. So whatever this is, you kind of know it's been in your way. This Tower has been in your way. And so when your old life crumbles around you, it's so much more easier to step smoothly into your new life, into the new version of you. Under that is Page of Pentacles, and I like it because it is about putting in the work. But I feel like, it feels like when you get to where you're going, and I don't even necessarily know what I mean when I say that, but when you get to where you're going, you're going to appreciate it because of everything you've been through. So trust that in that gratitude, in that appreciation, in seeing the beauty of it all, that's going to secure it for you. That Knight of Pentacles, I like it. It's like once the Tower is cleared, the real work can begin. But gratitude is the attitude. Gratitude is definitely the attitude. Being mindful of what you have, even if it's not very much, and really having reverence for what you have. And even if you just have a little bit of energy to do something, being really proud of yourself and reveling in that energy, really appreciating that you were able to get that little bit done, that's going to be the key. There's something about the perspective. Seeing beauty in something, appreciating something more, because of what a long motherfucking road it's been to get here. I don't mean to keep cussing a lot, but I am. So, I mean, it's like twice, so whatever. But under that's justice, like, yeah, this is your justice. You're being called to make a choice. 7 of Cups. Do something your future self would thank you for. Do something that you deserve. And it's giving me again this energy of there are parts of your old life crumbling around you. And so you're making choices to step into the new life and step away from those crumbs and step away from the scattered pieces. That those pieces are no longer your story. Because what you're working towards is so much better than where you've been. I do think you have been undervaluing yourself. I'm going to say it again, raise your prices. Okay, I'm going to start with the first Oracle deck. And we got Ignite, Lineal Truth, and Liberation. So yeah, you're here to set the world on fire. Your ancestors do not play about you because you are the one able to do what all of them couldn't do. And then there is this freedom from something, or even Hecate, if that feels aligned. You could be being guided by goddesses, Hecate or Lilith, or, maybe there is a divine feminine, I want to say Kali Ma. Like, there's this divine feminine access. Interesting. Okay. So for Ignite, we've got, there is an idea piecing itself together right in front of you. It feels as if you're watching something solid and real emerge from a thick fog. What began as a small spark of an idea has become a proper nudge from the cosmos. The universe wants to see this idea pieced together just as much as you do. You're still trying to decode the fleeting thoughts, to gather them and keep them from evaporating like a dream does once you have woken up. You can feel the idea taking shape, growing and forming its own identity. Soon it will be ready to be birthed and brought into your reality. You know this idea is a good one, that it can bring you happiness. It may be an idea now, but when the time is right, it may possibly be a solid foundation to build something substantial upon. You have all the tools available within you to set this idea in motion. To capture the delicate wisps which make up this thought, you have a light, warm and glowing. Nestled within, you know what? I made that one sentence and it was like 2 sentences. You have all the tools available within you to set this idea in motion, to capture the delicate wisps which make up this thought. You have a light, warm, and glowing nestled within your spirit. From this light, you're able to ignite this timeline and all the possibilities that await within it. So it's literally like setting old versions of yourself on fire. But I think it's very much leaning into intuition and, again, trusting your gut. Because I feel like you have to trust that you're going to figure it out. That whatever these whispered thoughts are that you're unable to catch or to gather and put into something. I keep thinking of like music, a song, a poem, a picture, something, using your voice especially. But it's this knowing that at some point, all of these thoughts will collide and create the perfect storm to breathe this into existence, whatever it is. It's like your personal song, your story, your testimony, breathing your story to life. You're not just writing it on a paper, on a page. You're literally breathing it to life. And I also feel like people undervalue you and you kind of shock the shit out of them because you're kind of spicy. You have a fiery touch. Like, you really know how to set the bridge ablaze. Like you have torched a few bridges in your day, metaphorically, hopefully not literally. But like I do feel like you came here to set the world on fire. And when you really use your passion, it feeds the flames, and it just, there's something so beautiful and majestic and magnetic about fire. But it also is very destructive. So I feel like that's probably part of this process, this long drawn out process, was really learning to control your own fire so that it doesn't go all willy nilly and you're not burning unintended bridges. So I do think very strongly that part of this process has been learning to control your emotions, learning to control your own energy, your own fire. You bring a hell of a lot to the table. I mean, at this point, you are the freaking table. Okay, lineal truth. There is an old wound, an old curse that belongs not only to you, but also your ancestors. Before your soul entered its current vessel, this wound occurred within one soul, and it has been allowed to reverberate continuously down your ancestral line. You're able to feel that pain and see what it has done to others in your family. You can see how others have attempted to cover it up, to conceal it from the outside world. While it is not up to you to solve what happened, you can take the responsibility to make peace with the wound. When a wound has its bandages removed and is acknowledged and illuminated, it is finally offered the opportunity to heal. You're in a position to mend a hurt which has affected many souls, and you can prevent it from causing further pain to those who are yet to come in your ancestral line. You will need to spend time with the pain and spend time with those it has affected. Ask your guides and angels for assistance. Ask them to infuse the space of pain with their healing white light. Be the one who mends the lineal wound, who breaks the generational curse. And I do feel like that is. I want to say that the wound was never your fault, but the healing of that wound is still your responsibility, and you stepped up to the plate in a way that others were unable or unwilling. And it did say something about when a wound has its bandages removed and is acknowledged and illuminated, it is finally offered the opportunity to heal. And there is something in the observing, recognizing that a wound is there. And it all really goes back to the observer effect. So go look that up, because like particles and waves and energy performs differently when it's being observed. And so there's really something to the observation of these wounds and the ancestral wound. And again, this feeling of trusting that you're going to be given the right tools at the right time. You're going to figure it all out. It's not taking too long. You're not behind. You're exactly right on track where you're supposed to be. And liberation. Why are you waiting for someone or something to come along and save you? To provide you with the freedom you're so desperately seeking. You are your own liberator. You are the only one holding the keys, the only one with access to the lock. Stop waiting and start acting. I do want to interject before I finish reading and saying that is exactly the Eight of Swords card in this position even. The way you see the situation. You see that you are the one with the power of your perspective. That is your key. Something is being unlocked, some kind of mental cage that you've been behind. Like fear can sit down and shut up. It does not have a hold on you anymore. It is time to show up for yourself and finally begin the process of saving yourself. There is a level of personal and spiritual oppression you feel, a certain type of captivity being experienced. Yes, there's always someone somewhere who will help you if you ask them. But in this situation, no one can help rescue you. This is something you must do on your own. It's time to be your own hero and to declare to the universe that you deserve better as a sovereign soul. Yes, You deserve better. Unshackle yourself and feel the immense pride in knowing that you were able to rescue yourself. Then pass on your story, and use it to provide others with the hope of being able to save themselves. Be the hero of your own life and become a source of inspiration to someone else. I literally want to throw the guidebook down. I mean, it's in pieces, but I like it's a card deck or something. I just want to throw it down, like mic drop. Telling your story, using your voice. You are your own damn hero. And you would do well not to undervalue yourself, as would others. Because I feel like when they undervalue you, when they abuse and misuse you, the payback they receive, Jesus got your ass now. Okay, from the next one, we've got Stuck Energy, Behind a Mask, and Family, Friends, and Guides. And that one was kind of extra, but it definitely was feeling like it needed to be pulled. So I knew before I really started even that your ancestors, your guides were showing up. They're showing up strong. You're really protected and guided at this point in your life. And I feel like there's probably a time where you felt like you weren't. But I also think a lot of it had to do with mindset. And in a certain mindset or negativity, that is essentially a veil separating you from receiving messages or understanding and interpreting messages from your guides or your ancestors or angels or whatever spirit team you identify with, because trust and believe everyone has one. Okay. So we've got the suit of energy, intention, and spirit. So the energy, we know it was stuck. We know you've had a lot of wading in the mud, a lot of figuring out why you keep telling the same story. And I think it was about contemplating life and being like, okay, universe, what do you have for me? Okay, Gus. Have you seen that on TikTok where they're calling God, universe, and spirit Gus? Source, Gus, Guss. What do you got for me, Gus? And then intention, behind a mask. I do feel like you kind of had to unmask yourself, but also really get down and dirty with yourself and get to the nitty gritty and ask yourself some really tough questions. Do that inner work that scares the shit out of a lot of people, and that's why they don't get to the level you're at, because that's a lot of work. And I think that's part of what's kind of started to move the energy. And then once you put in that little bit of effort, I'd say little bit, but it's hard as hell to look at the stories you tell yourself, the narratives you tell about yourself, and to overwrite past conditioning, and to uncover all the masks and see yourself for who you really are, and learn to really love and admire and appreciate that person. But that precisely unlocks a whole new magical, a whole new world. That song just popped in my head, literally. It's like, I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Literally, you're stepping out of the mist, coming out of nowhere. People are going to be like, oh, this up and coming baby, you've been here. It's like the feeling of getting famous, but you've been grinding for 10 or 15 years on your craft before you get the recognition you deserve. So oh, it's overnight success. Bullshit. Bull honky shit. This has been in process. You've been in the trenches for years. Overnight success, my ass. Okay. Let me find energy. Working on my energy. Going nowhere. The upright, these do have reversed meanings that I like to read because it always feels like those are kind of the past you're moving away from, and the upright is more what you're moving into, the energy moving forward. Okay, an old-fashioned truck is stuck deeply, made a new word there, stuck deeply in mud, clearly not going anywhere. I'm totally getting Lotus vibes too, growing from the mud and the muck and becoming this beautiful, radiant version of yourself, attracting rainbows. Maybe you are the rainbow. A frustrated man sits on top trying to discern how he's going to get it out. Similarly, you're looking at a situation in your life where you feel overwhelmingly stuck and you simply don't know how to change things. Perhaps you're in a job that's dissatisfying, yet you feel like you can't leave because of the money. Maybe you're in a relationship that's stifling or even in some way dishonoring to you, yet you feel you must stay, perhaps for the kids or because you believe you can't make it on your own. Whatever it is, you find yourself so deeply entrenched that you can't seem to move. Yet take a moment to notice the rainbow and orbs behind the man. These represent the power of your own spirit, and the message here is a life lesson from your soul. It's time to know that you do have the power to resolve this seemingly unresolvable situation. Stop and figure out the logistical steps you need to take. Meditate on the strength of your soul. You always have options, and you are resourceful and capable enough to figure them out. Only you have the power to choose the direction of your life. No matter what you're dealing with, you can get unstuck. The key is in your hand. You are the only one holding you back at this point. Old narratives, old mindsets, old versions of you fighting like hell to get a grasp. You hold the key. When the stuck energy card is reversed, rejoice. The situation that's been keeping you feeling trapped is starting to shift. Either the situation itself will free you or you will finally find the power to free yourself. And if this card falls near the transformation card, it harkens a total change in the way you perceive and deal with your life, which it's not, but I feel like there has been this feeling of transformation and rebirth. So it does feel like there is a change in your perception and the way you approach your life, the way you deal with it. This is a dynamic time for you. There may be a big upheaval with some major details to work out. Make sure you release any doubts that come up. Approach the necessary changes joyously and with confidence and optimism in your heart. The outer circumstances will release their hold when you choose to honor your own happiness and intentions. Your happiness is your responsibility. Other people's happiness is their responsibility. The sun has risen in your life, drying up the mud and allowing you to walk away in any direction you choose. And the affirmation, only I have the power to change my life. I am capable and comfortable with any change I choose to make. So yes, there's a lot of transformation. There's a lot of rebirth energy. Whatever has been keeping you stuck is kind of drying up. Again, this feeling of some kind of truth being revealed. Some kind of stuck energy being dissolved. Okay. And behind a mask says choosing self-acceptance. A woman wears an elegant mask that covers the top half of her face. It hides her identity beautifully. Even her friends won't be able to recognize her. This card reveals an important conflict in your intentions. You have times when your view of yourself is so depleted, you believe you must hide who you are and pretend to be someone you're not. This gets you into a whole lot of mental messes. You compare yourself to others, always competing and often losing in your own mind. Your perfectionism can create performance anxiety and cause you to worry about what others think. Worst of all, this ongoing current of self-judgment becomes a raging energetic river that pushes your goals away. So I do have a feeling there is a serious need here to create and to allow yourself to create badly. Stop expecting it to be perfect or needing it to be good. Let it be bad. Whatever it is that you're creating, let it be bad, because inevitably it will get better. Your first draft doesn't have to be your final draft. Stop expecting it to be. Okay. It's absolutely impossible to attract your real desires if you never allow yourself to be the real you. This card is telling you that you can and must shed this false condemnation of yourself, no matter how deep this pattern is. Your value comes from your eternal truth, not from others' input. So choose to relax and let the mask go. Open up to Spirit's light within and around you and be yourself. When you accept yourself as you are, no matter what anyone else may think, you will feel completely liberated. Liberation. Perhaps for the first time in your life. That's true. That's so true. It's about seeing yourself for who you are and literally not giving a shit what anybody else says or thinks about you. Because you know yourself in such a way that you don't need anyone else to know you. You don't need anyone else to see you. You've already seen behind all of your layers, all of your masks that you put on for the world. Which inevitably, I think we all have to put on a mask at one point or another. But I think it's about learning to take that mask off and really accepting your authentic self and knowing that part of that is kind of messy and imperfect and chaotic and sometimes confusing, but there's so much beauty in all of that. Okay, when this card comes to you reversed, it indicates a wonderful alignment between your soul's identity and your personal view. You have or will soon come to the life-changing realization that you are completely valuable just as you are. There's nothing you must do differently in order to deserve your own or others' approval. This single conclusion releases the striving, the performance, and the urgency that have blocked your goals in the past. When the mask comes off, the universe rejoices in your confidence and authenticity. Your unconditional self-acceptance removes the restrictions you put on your own energy, and that changes everything. So get ready for happier days. The results you've been waiting for are ready for the real you. And the affirmation, I choose to accept myself as I am. I deserve my own high regard. So it's kind of interesting that the upright version of these two cards are, I don't want to say the more negative version, but I mean, I guess sort of. But reversed, it feels like it speaks to me of the hardest part is over. That's what I want to get at. The hardest part is over. And again, it gives this feeling with that Ten of Wands, the final push through, the final countdown. That's what it feels like here. Like all the hard work has been done. Like maybe you're not coasting yet, but easy breezy is coming, baby. Okay, let's see what this last one says for family, friends, and guides, your spirit mentors. A woman in spirit floats over a peaceful stream, her light reflecting in the water, reminding you of the ever-present power of spirit in your life. Unending inspiration and support are available through the loving entities in the spirit realm. When this card is upright, it harkens the presence of a spirit friend or family member, or possibly someone you knew on a professional level. Do not put limits on the knowledge these entities can bring. In the spirit world, they can access all of the information of the Akashic records. For the eternal past to the infinite future, all the wisdom you would ever need can be accessed either through your higher self or through these spirit loved ones all around you. This card is telling you there's something going on in your life that could use the advice of spirit. Perhaps a beloved family doctor from the other side is helping you heal. Perhaps a friend in spirit can give guidance concerning a relationship issue at this time. Ask for the information you need and be open to receiving it in myriad unexpected ways. I will also say, seek guided meditations on YouTube. I have started compiling a list of different meditations and using them regularly. And some are like 20, 30 minutes. Some are longer. Some are really short, just for like my break times, like 10 minutes or less. Feel free if I think my lists are public, so you can look if you want to look for some guided meditations. But I think that could really help unlock some layers within you. And it's also about learning to trust the process, learning to trust what you see, feel, and hear, and know that you're not crazy and you are way more connected than you give yourself credit for. Okay, when this card is reversed, it's an even more emphatic announcement about the arrival or presence of an important guide in your life. This may be a talent guide, a past life guide, or an expert of any kind. Everyone in spirit can be a guide, from the ascended masters, Jesus in the house, from the ascended masters to your dear friends, to every angel who vibrates in the heavenly realm. You can receive insightful information from them all. This card calls for you to open up to some, I heard pop pop. I don't know who that is, but that's what I heard, pop pop. This card calls for you to open up to some important guidance available to you about the projects you're working on. Perhaps a talent guide or some other expert is reaching out to help. It may even be someone famous like Monet if you're an artist, or Mozart if you're into music. Do not think that you don't deserve the help of these legendary spirits. They love what they did while on the earth plane, and they love helping those who are following the same pursuits now. You also have a personal guide who's always at your shoulder, whispering wisdom to help you along. Open up to the powerful presence that this card reveals. See if you can get a sense of who your guide may be. Then be prepared to let the inspiration flow. And the affirmation is, I open up to all the loving, helpful spirits around me. I invite their guidance, and I am thankful. My throat is getting parched. Okay. So yeah, spirit guides coming in hot. I do think, again, I'm going to say, I think guided meditations would help you. There's so many. You can like ask your own question and look them up on YouTube. And even if you want a specific time frame, look them up. Find something that works for you. Because like, it does feel like there's been some kind of veil that has been separating spirit communication, but that veil is lifting. A lot of truth is being revealed, and I think you're going to start hearing your spirit guides more, your spirit team. So, I mean, you could even be clairaudient, or you literally hear them. I think that's kind of how mine works too, as I hear a lot of things in my head. It's learning to trust those, learning to trust that you're not crazy, even though sometimes it can feel like you are. You're being liberated. Because, you've been hiding behind this mask, but peeling off that mask, you're truly being liberated from giving a shit what anybody else thinks about you. Because literally their opinion does not matter. Not even a little bit. Okay. I felt very, very called to use this deck. Because I was just kind of... This first one was the only one I had out. Every other one, except for the last two, I always end with those two. But every other one, very intuitive. But this one was like literally calling my name. Ashley, use me. Messages from the Spirits of Nature Oracle, if you're interested. Okay, so we got Cave, Initiation, Rain, Renewal, and Snake, Shedding. Number 4, 29, and 36. So yeah, it does feel like an initiation, an integration, a rebirth, and shedding energy that no longer matches your frequency. So all of that is precisely on point. So again, once the messages start to flow, ooh-wee, boy, are they going to flow. Okay, initiation. A cave, also called a cavern, is a natural opening in the earth, one that has an entry point sometimes large enough for a person to enter. In all cultures and throughout history, caves are prevalent motifs in myths and legends. And low-key right now, as I'm reading this, I feel like I'm echoing myself in this room I'm in. So it's kind of interesting because I'm talking about a cave and I feel like my voice is echoing, and I've got headphones in, so... An interesting correlation there. Maybe it's about your voice echoing also. Going into a cave is considered an entry to the womb of Mother Earth, a place of creation as well as life and death. Caves can also represent the subconscious, where stored or repressed memories and instinctual drives are contained until they're ready to make themselves known to the person's conscious awareness. Throughout history, caves have served as a place for many sacred rites of passage into another world, such as an initiation for shamans or other developmental ceremonies like coming of age rituals. Once you've entered the darkness of the cave, the initiation and transformation begin. There's that word transformation again. You are forced to confront your fears, while simultaneously discovering newfound abilities, faith, and courage to deal with the situation. That's so on point. You are forced to confront your fears while simultaneously discovering newfound abilities, faith, and courage to deal with the situation. When you exit the cave, you are a different person than when you entered. That's so on point with the rest of the message. And the message is, although at times you felt overwhelmed by the darker period you have experienced recently, this very challenging cycle has created the opportunity to confront and embrace those inner demons, the shadowy elements in yourself that have been hiding behind the mask, of your practiced persona. The task of acknowledging these shadows without shame or self-criticism has continued throughout this period, and now you have a greater capacity to be aware of them and know that they no longer hold power of you. That's so important, to acknowledge these shadows without shame or self-criticism. Shame and self-criticism does not serve you. That's part of that old narrative, that old mindset, that old version of you that you are no longer. There's no shame around here. There's no self-criticism around here. There's only belief and faith, courage. Having met and overcome these darker forces, you are now emerging into the world of light, significantly changed. Again, it's like you're being emerged. You're being revealed through the mist. You've been rebirthed into another cycle of your life, one of even greater spiritual depth and conscious awareness. This initiation that you've gone through to this present phase has led you to a greater appreciation and awareness of how spirit operates. You know you're supported with an abundance of compassionate spirit guides, signs, and omens, and they are critically important in your renewed commitment to lead a spiritually directed life. I feel like your spirit guides are showing up so heavy because they're like, hey, we need to be a part of this next phase. We need to be a heavy influence in the next phase in your life. We need to be in constant communication in this next phase of your life. Like they're heavy, you're being heavily supported, and they're going to start speaking to you in a lot of repeated messages. You're going to start seeing the same shit in the most random places, and you're going to know. They're like, listen, let us help you. Talk to us. Meet with us in the spirit cave, in the crystal cave. Like just... They're going to be coming on so strong. They are a very important part of this next phase in your life. Okay. Rain, renewal, rain, go away, come again another day. The perpetual cycle of water's distribution on Earth has no actual starting point. It's in continual movement from one form to another. Human and animal cells are composed of 90% water, and plant cells are 80 to 90% water. 96% of the water on Earth is saline. The relatively small percentage of fresh water is either in the ground replenishing aquifers, saturated surface rocks, or in rivers and lakes. To be drinkable for most life forms, water must undergo a cycle of constant renewal, being heated such that it rises as vapor, then cooling to form clouds. Within the clouds, droplets condense and grow, then fall to the earth as rain, renewing the fresh water on the land and nourishing the life forms that live upon it. The rain lilies featured on this card exemplify this theme with blossoms that remain dormant for months, even through drought, and only burst into bloom after a rainfall. I even love that because of like the false start at the beginning of this reading. Like I literally tried twice to start and third time was the charm. So there is this feeling of being like gifts within you being dormant. I'm so serious. You're going to start interacting with spirit in a new way. Some of your gifts and abilities are opening up, and they're going to be overwhelming or unexpected. Don't gaslight yourself, because this message is confirmation that these gifts have been dormant, but you have been being prepared. You have been being set up for success. Wow, you've been being prepared. Preparation is key. That's why you're the key, because you've been being prepared. Okay, the message. You're finding yourself in a process of renewal that will require nothing short of a complete revamp of your life, from your work to your relationships, even the relationship with yourself and with your higher self. You've been feeling the strong and steady pull to do so, while at the same time noticing a resistance to making these changes out of fear of the unknown. It's challenging to surrender to these urgings of spirit, and in spite of the fear, take the actions needed to move forward into the next cycle of renewal. Remind yourself that there have been many times throughout your life you have courageously faced opportunities for revitalization and succeeded in doing so, regardless of any initial resistance or perceived blockages. You've literally overcome everything. A way to experience how this recycling and renewal process is natural is by making every drink of fresh water a mindful one. Take every sip slowly and with gratitude, reminding yourself of the everlasting water cycle of the earth. Pause and feel how the water moves throughout your body, refreshing and renewing every cell with the lifeblood that is so necessary for you and so many other beings on the planet. I will go one step further and say, do water manifestation. Speak life into your water. Speak your affirmations into your water. Mine personally is, I have a healthy and loving relationship with, insert food, insert my body, insert my energy, insert money, insert life itself. I have a healthy and loving relationship with, and I am the happiest, healthiest, wealthiest I've ever been, and I am grateful. Speak life into your water before you drink it, and do that for a couple of weeks, and come back and tell me your life didn't change, and I'll tell you you're a liar. I won't, but I'll be like, oh, maybe you need an extra week. Because maybe some of those internal programs are so deeply programmed, like you're having to really dig deep to unprogram them, to rewrite the script. Water manifestation is like, that's almost a shortcut. It's not, but it feels like a shortcut because of how well it works. But water holds memory, and you are comprised of 90% water. So when you take in water that you have spoken life into, it literally refreshes your cells from the inside out. That is your renewal. It is your rain process that you are giving to yourself, sustaining your own energy yourself. Okay, and snake. There's a surprising complexity to these simple creatures, both physically and spiritually. In many belief systems and mythologies, the snake is seen as a living representation of the duality of good and evil, a deity, the soul of life, the gateway to the heavens, a healing force, or an embodiment of the underworld, bringing with it great fear and power. Symbolic representations of snakes are also prominent in various cultures throughout the world. One such example is the caduceus, an emblem with two snakes intertwined around a pole. They are firmly embedded in our collective consciousness. I think that's the medical symbol, the emblem. One of the most fascinating characteristics of snakes is that several times a year they shed their skin in one continuous piece. Their body grows, but their skin does not, and a new layer is generated while the old is discarded like clothes that no longer fit. The process takes a few days, during which time it's important that the snake not be disturbed. Unlike the dragonfly or butterfly, there is no physical transformation from the shedding, just a bigger snake and a roomier skin, while the old skin gets discarded. I do feel like that's part of the energy that has been stuck. Like the skin that you were shedding got snagged. This old version of you got snagged on its way out the door. I mean, you're going to conquer all of that and burst forth this like totally illuminating version of yourself. Like your glow up is strong in this era of your life. Okay, the message. It's time to shed your skin to allow a bigger self to emerge from that which has up to now encompassed and defined you, or at least who you thought you were. Yeah, no more playing it small. No more undercharging, undervaluing. You've been feeling like the old skin no longer fits, yet there is a natural tendency to cling to the false security and predictability of these familiar habits and ways of being. Though it will require a period of solitude and contemplation, you're sensing an urge to wriggle out of the physical and emotional entanglements that have kept you from loosening the self-created bonds that have served their purpose up to now. This may also be a signal to shed those belongings that no longer fit who you are becoming. After a time, whether weeks or months, the self that is emerging will create new attachments and relationships and will even be more intimately related to the natural world and the spirit that expresses as these multitudes of beings. In an inevitable transition for you, one where you will still be you, yet with a greater sense of purpose and a willingness to continue changing as each new era in your life presents itself. Though some struggle may precede this emergence, your trust in the process grows stronger and deeper and can be totally supported by calling on your spirit guides. Again, calling on your spirit guides, but that also kind of speaks to the Ten of Swords and the Tower that came out. So there may be struggle as you fully emerge, but those are like last-ditch efforts of your old self. You have grown so much stronger and deeper in this process. And in those moments, call on your spirit guides. They want to talk to you but they need to be a part of this next phase of your life. They need to work extremely closely with you this next phase. You're going to be hearing them in a new way. Okay. For this next deck, I believe this is the Oracle of Awesome. Be mindful of your thoughts and what you're putting out into the universe. Watch your thoughts. Yes, that's where it all starts, is the power of your thoughts, the power of your perspective. Your perspective matters. Your perspective matters. Literally, your perspective can shape the world around you. It can literally change the way your life looks. And as I say that, a quote comes to mind from Dr. Wayne Dyer. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That's my favorite quote of all time because it's so simple and so true. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Your perspective influences the quantum reality around you. It's the observer effect. The way you see the situation matters more than anything. Be very mindful of your thoughts and what you're projecting into the universe, because that's what you're getting back. That's the same story that you keep telling, but you're writing a new story, thinking new thoughts. Rings, circumstances that connect people. Interesting that the Lovers was the first one out, and here we've got rings. So there are things that feel like they're going to feel like destiny, meeting the right people, the right circumstances happening, the right situations popping up at exactly the right time. It does feel like this is going to be very fluid and connected. Woman, traditional female abilities and characteristics being a healer, home, creativity, nurturing, and caring. So I do feel like if you align with the feminine, this is going to be very empowering. It could also be about a new woman coming into your life. It could be a friend. It could be a love interest, whatever. Just a woman. I mean, never just a woman, because the mighty woman. This is also maybe you stepping into certain healing energies or modalities. And even I think kind of nurturing yourself more, caring for yourself more, giving to yourself what you've been so freely giving to others. And I also feel it does feel very embodied and empowered. Like you are a force to be reckoned with. Star, go after what you want, freedom, authenticity, and sovereignty. So the star was here earlier, and we've got the star again. And freedom. There's been a path. That path was previously blocked, but you stopped being a martyr, and you basically let the old version of you fall away. Make new choices, make new decisions. And when everything looked like it was falling apart, somehow you knew that it was falling into place. You trusted that process. You are trusting that process. And you're doing it authentically. And you're standing in your power in a way that is so new for you, but it feels so good. When you stand, man, people don't see you coming. They literally do not see you coming. Choose your own path. And I think it's about trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, but leaning into each path and seeing how it feels, trusting how you feel, trusting how your body feels when you envision each path. Because sometimes the path may look easier, but it will not feel aligned. You will not feel called towards that path. And another path may look more difficult, but that path is the one you are called towards. The unknown path. Because I feel like on this, or at this point, you can't really trust the way something looks. Because I think it's also about taking the leap of faith and doing something, even if it looks a little bit hard or scary, because you know it's the right thing to do. Because it feels like you can't help but feel called or pulled toward this thing. There's this interconnectedness, this feeling of destiny calling you. I mean, literally. And trust yourself, follow your gut. I feel like I've been saying that the whole reading. Trust your gut. Trust your gut. Trust what your body is telling you. Your body will act up around certain people. If you just learn to listen to it, your body's like, nope, out of here. Okay, for the law of attraction, island time wellness. Love where you are. Appreciate current circumstances. Ask yourself why you want what you want and see the beauty in it all. So there is this really digging into yourself, digging in behind the mask, asking yourself, what narrative are you chasing? What story are you writing? Why do you want this thing that you want? Making sure that your intentions are real and genuine. And you're not chasing something because you were programmed to want that thing. And that thing will make you feel successful when maybe that's not the thing you want at all. But it's also about appreciating exactly where you are and loving and honoring every single version of yourself that has brought you to this moment, to this person right here, right now. Honor and love every version of those, of you. Because you went through hell to become this person, to become this version of you. Love who you are and love where you are, even if it's not where you're going. Because this is the final push through. This isn't the final destination. You're still on the journey. You're still planting seeds. And I mean, it really is about the journey and not the destination. It's not about where you're going. It's about how you get there. That's where your story comes in. That's where your testimony comes in. That's where you can really step into healing for others. This is the time. This is your story. The in-between time, the getting there. There's beauty in the getting there. Your own path. Trailblazing brings the greatest achievement, heart and mind aligned, unconventionality, and authenticity. That word keeps popping up all over this reading. Authenticity, authenticity. You are a star. You're literally created for this. And like the heart is being cut out on that one, and then we've got this paper airplane in the shape of a heart, like the path, following your heart. It's going to feel aligned, not necessarily easy, but it will feel aligned. You are a trailblazer. And this is very much about your heart and your mind getting married, your subconscious and your conscious being on the same page. Knowing, this inner knowing that you deserve something. Not just wanting it, but fully knowing and trusting that you deserve it and that it's coming. Even if you haven't seen the results of it, the results of the work that you've put in, there is this level of faith that it doesn't matter. You already know it's on its way. You know it's coming. This whole reading has literally simply been confirmation for that. That, yeah, maybe you don't see the results, but oh, they're coming. You're trusting it's on its way. You're making your own way in the world, your own path, and trying to love yourself through the process. What a power move. It's manifested. New desired reality is already present in your life. Vibrational alignment, astrology gives edge. So look into your astrology, look into your transits even. That could give you an edge about when to make certain moves. And again, it's already manifested. The version of your life that you desire, that you wish for, already exists in some other timeline, some other vibration or frequency, some other possibility. It already exists. You just have to align with that. And it's a process of making moves to align with that timeline, with that version of yourself. But each move you make as this new version of you, you say no to the old version of you, to the old mindsets, the old toxic relationships, the old lack mentalities, the old fears holding you back. All of that's nah. Homie, don't play that. Crisis, restructuring life, blessing within, clearing space, bring solutions, see deepest needs and emotions. So that does kind of go along with that tower card we had, because it has been this restructuring. And there's definitely a blessing in, because the path ahead has actually been cleared in a new way. Clearing space, exactly, bringing a solution. But I also feel like you're, again, back to that 10 of Wands at the beginning. In the very near future, you're needing to prioritize what's important to you. Prioritize your needs and emotions, and cut away trim dead weight of people who cannot or are unwilling to meet those needs. Don't be around people who minimize or invalidate your emotions. And don't do that to yourself. There's definitely a restructuring going on. And this is a very internalized process, and it's slowly been reverberating outwards, but you're about to see the results of that restructuring in your outside life. And I think that's part of that disconnect at the very beginning of the reading. Part of that 5 of Pentacles sideways, part of that disconnect is you've been putting in a lot of spiritual work. You've been doing the things, but you haven't seen a lot of payback. But remember, fear not, Jesus is here to pay you back. So like literally you're about to receive the financial payback for what you've been doing. You're about to see the physical results in your life, in your outer reality, because of all of the things you've been doing internally. So the universe is about to catch up in a big way. Or really, I mean, it's you about to really confirm the path that you're on. Because you can say you want something once or twice, but whatever this is, you've been committing to it. You've been trusting yourself and trusting the process. The last one is highest expression, fulfilling life purpose, soul contract, destiny, co-creating with universe, bliss, and knows worth. So yes, co-creating with the universe, with Gus himself, herself. So let's call her Gussie. And also, this does have this very ethereal feel of like destiny, the soul contract. Like this was written in the stars for you. So like, are you going to keep pretending this isn't your highest expression of creativity? And again, whatever it is, do it. Do the creative thing. Do the thing you're feeling called to do. Let yourself be bad. It'll get better. Trust that it will, but let yourself be bad. Stop expecting your first draft to be as good as your final draft. Let yourself be bad. Okay, Divine Compass, Clarity, Oracle cards. And that feels, I felt very called to use these two. And I mean, I see why. There's very much this feeling of destiny calling. Okay, so the first one is fast progress. Move forward with swift precision and do what must be done now. Charge ahead. There is this feeling of stop dragging your feet. Choose the path. Make the move. Do the thing. Take very precisional steps. Take the baby steps towards your dreams. If you need to, write out the baby steps, what they are. Do you need to take a class? Do you need to do a thing? Do you need to do this? Do you need to set aside time? What do you need to do? What are the actual steps to get there? And then start moving in that direction. Charge ahead and do it now. Stop waiting for the time to be right. The time is right now. Jesus is here, bro. Like, I got you. Come on. Step out of the boat. I got you. Carried away. Let yourself be caught up in the whirlwind of a romantic moment. Unlock your heart. I even feel like there's something in that story of, like, I think it was Peter stepping out of the boat. I'm not a religious person, so it's interesting that this is even coming up, but I keep calling this dude Jesus. But it's like Peter was able to step out of the boat and he walked on the water until he lost his faith, and then he sank like a stone. So there is this feeling of believing in yourself. Stop playing it small. Stop undervaluing yourself. Raise your prices. I feel like every time I say that, there's this little niggle of fear, this little background static or interference. But like, what if? No, it's about you perceiving yourself at a higher value and expecting others to honor that. Not expecting others to see a higher value within you and then you get to honor that. No, the process is reversed. You need to value yourself and let others honor it. And if they can't, deuces. That makes room for others who will. And again, there will be people who will pay your prices. I feel like this reading has been for me too. I mean, I am a part of my collective, and technically my name didn't get called, so... Okay, carried away, let yourself be caught up in the whirlwind of a romantic moment. Unlock your heart. Maybe there is romance for some people. I mean, the lovers were the first card out, and you got the rings with the commitment or whatever. So for some people, this could be about a destiny meeting, a meet cute, divine intervention, I heard. But I also think for a lot of people, it's getting caught up in your dreams, in the romanticism of following your dreams. Unlock your heart. Don't let past heartache and pain block your future. And you kind of have to move in a very heart-open, passionate way, because there's some connection there. When your heart is open, your passion is more easily, the flames are fanned more easily when your heart is open. When your heart is closed, it's kind of harder to get to the point where you can fan those flames. Is the analogy dead? Did I take it too far? The next one is gentle release. And I love that it's a lotus because I did mention earlier there was this feeling of a lotus emerging from the mud, this goddess or god emerging from the mist. Gentle release. Let yourself surrender to the flow of life's mysterious currents. Just go with it. So go with the flow. Surrender to control. Gussie's in control. Let her take the wheel. Let Jesus take the wheel if you don't want Gussie to drive. But whatever you're destined for, whatever's coming is so different. And it feels also like it's going to be easier in a way. I feel like I want to say the last 10 years have been hell. It has been a lot of work. It has not been easy. It's been difficult. But the era of your life you're moving into is definitely going to be easier. You're going to be in flow. So very aligned. But I do feel like it does kind of have to do with letting go of some things that simply weren't serving you anymore. Letting go of some people, of some situations, of some jobs, of some habits, mindsets, whatever it is. Letting go of those things. And not knowing the way ahead and being okay with that. Knowing that Gussie got you. Jesus got your will, got your back. Like your spirit team is guiding you very intentionally towards something bigger and more than you expect. But once you finally recognize that you deserve more, the opportunities for more become open to you. And the last one, fully immersed. Everything you want is all around you, just waiting for you to see it. Stay in the flow. So I feel like there's a lot of messages from the universe that you're getting. Like literally, oh my gosh, you're probably receiving messages everywhere. Like billboards and angel numbers and feathers and like overheard conversations and certain advertisements and probably seeing readings on your feed, like different messages being repeated. It's about letting yourself be immersed in the flow, trusting that you're going somewhere good. Not just good, but somewhere really, really good. Okay, for the archetype cards, the first one is the spy. Someone has their eye on you. What's done behind the scenes will soon be revealed. Nothing will escape you. I think that's interesting because at the very beginning of the reading with this Ace of Swords, I felt like you were actually going to receive some information. So there's going to be information revealed. Somebody's going to tell you something about someone that you didn't know. And it's just going to be this huge light bulb moment. If there's someone spying on you or someone that has ill intentions towards you, they're going to be revealed. If there's someone who has done something shady to you, that's going to be revealed. Again, you're going to have this like X-ray vision to where you can just see through people. They maybe don't even necessarily need to speak to you for you to be able to see through their false words. Because nothing's going to escape you. You'll see it all. The imposter. Check your circle and be careful what you say. Someone trusted is pretending to be a friend and twisting their persona. Alternatively, I also want to say, don't let imposter syndrome sabotage you. Don't speak to yourself that way. Don't be the sabotage or the saboteur in your own life. Words are kind of stalling at the moment, but I'm thinking about like the people around you, the people you let close to you. Pay attention to the way they show up. Pay attention to their authenticity, because I feel like when their words ring false, you hear that, you feel that. Don't ignore that. It's about recognizing who cheers for you when you win and who doesn't. But also cheering for yourself, being your own damn cheerleader. And getting out of your own head. Because literally I'm hearing the song, the Billie Eilish song, "What was I made for?" This is what you were made for. Like, stop pretending you weren't. Fear of success, fear of failure, whatever. Stop. Just stop trying to control it. Let it be what it wants to be. And sometimes, right out the gate, it's going to be bad. Again, let it be bad. The protector. Angels are providing protection while spiritual changes are occurring around you and guiding you to your true path. You are being realigned. Your spirit guides are heavily influencing you right now, heavily protecting you from imposters, from people pretending to be your friend when all the while they're not cheering when you win. It's interesting. It's so interesting how heavily involved your spirit team is in this next phase of your life. Like, oh, I just threw this card onto my shoulder. I didn't even know I could do that. I literally just threw it onto my own shoulder. Okay. Felt like they're like, yes, yes. They're literally going to be at your shoulder. Like literally looking over your shoulder, like telling you what words to write, what words to say, like constantly in your ear. They are going to be so heavily involved in this next part of it. Feels like it's a very creative phase that you're stepping into. And I keep like seeing like writing music or making music or writing songs or writing your story, your novel, your poetry, whatever. Painting your picture, doing your art, letting it be bad. And like being really, really proud of it even when it is bad. You're being guided very intentionally towards something very unexpected and very, very awesome. The last one is the beggar. Wishing to bring back that which has left your life is keeping you stagnant. Don't hold on to past disappointment. So there may be something from your past that tries to come back, but that thing is that last ditch effort of your old life trying to hang on. And your new life will cost you your old life. I mean, that's the price that you'll have to pay. And if you're willing to pay that price, then you're literally unlimited. You're unstoppable. Don't let sob stories take advantage of your good energy. Don't let them play on your heart. And don't hold on to past disappointment. Let a few false starts happen. Don't let that discourage you. Don't let that stop you. And pay attention to who values what you have to offer the world, who values you as a person, who values your time, who values your attention, who values your energy, the effort that you put into things. And move away from people who don't value that. Again, raise your prices. Messages from your future higher self. You're a lot tougher than you think you are. You are a lot tougher than you think you are. You miss the beauty when you're stressed. Be gentle with yourself. Be messy sometimes. Let it all go. Stop needing everything to be perfect. What you focus on grows, so try to stop focusing on the stress and redirect your attention to blessings, to creativity, to the outlets. To the beauty and the blessings that you're surrounded with. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. This is about seeing the blessing in the chaos, in the destruction. Don't worry about what could go wrong. If something does go wrong, you'll be able to make the best out of it. And I want to say, like you always do, like you always do, don't be afraid of something going wrong, because you've been through things that have gone wrong before and you've been able to make the best out of it. And you will continue to make the best out of it. You always do. You always have. You always will. It's just this way about you. And don't forget to fulfill your needs while helping others. So this is about prioritizing yourself, your own needs, your own wants, your own feelings even, not apologizing for those, not pandering to someone else, and not feeling responsible for anyone else's feelings or their actions or their opinions, their point of view, because that's not yours. Focusing on your needs, on chasing inner fulfillment, because that cannot be found outside of you in other people. And do not give up because something did not work out right away. That's so poetic, because this is, the third time I tried to make this video, so there were literally 2 false starts. And I was like, okay, the first time it's like, okay, let's regroup, let's try this again. And I was like 3 minutes and 20 seconds in. And I was like, okay, let's regroup. Let's do this again. And so the second time, I was 3 minutes and 18 seconds in. And then I stopped it again. Oh, what's going on here? And then I realized, okay, I need to keep my notes till the end for whatever reason. Because I talked about some of the stuff in the notes. So it's not like it's some big secret. But I think it's about moving in silence, keeping something to yourself. That will help the energy flow in the way that it was previously unable to. Okay, so for the last set of cards, I pulled from the Practical Self-Care, which these 2 decks I love to end my readings with. Messages from Your Future Higher Self and Self-Care, Practical Self-Care, which I got 2 of them. And then I got 2 more, and then the next 6 or whatever, they all wanted to come out. So I just kept pulling and pulling. So there's shit tons of self-care cards, and that's pretty unusual. So maybe there's this need to focus on self-care, this need to be really attentive with yourself. And again, there's something about the observer effect happening here in real time. So observing something within you, maybe observing your inner child or a past version of yourself, or something that needs a little more attention, allowing it to be seen, felt, and experienced. Okay, so the first one is financial goals. Set and reach your financial goals to achieve financial stability. And when I saw that card, that's when I very first had the thought, you need to raise your prices. That was my first thought when I saw that card. You need to raise your prices. Yes, you need to set financial goals for yourself. You need to have something to work towards, something you want to achieve. So bare bones, lay it out, do the budget, set some goals, see where you can cut back, but also raise your prices. Value yourself more than you have previously. Heart chakra, the heart chakra's out of balance. And I do feel there's probably been some heartache, some past pain, a lot of things you've had to overcome, some false starts. But there is this need here to go into this next phase of your life open-hearted. Not necessarily looking for love, not looking for anything, but being open-hearted and open to the opportunities, and knowing that what is meant for you will find you absolutely. And being open to whatever Gussie has for you. Because, the truth is, she adores you. This God, universe, spirit, source, Yahweh, Yeshua, whatever, Gussie adores you. Do 30-day challenges. Force yourself to do something new for 30 days to form a new habit. April is mentioned. Maybe you specifically started something in April. This is your confirmation to keep pushing, the final push through. Do a 30-day challenge. Challenge yourself for 30 days to change a certain habit. And if you decide you don't like it, change it back after 30 days. If your life isn't different, and if you don't feel better about yourself, if you don't see your life and yourself in a new way, change it back. Set boundaries. Setting boundaries in your life is a great way to put yourself first. So definitely more confirmation you're needing to put yourself first. Set boundaries with people who are not honoring you. Set boundaries with people who are attached to the old versions of you. No is a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone an explanation. And your boundaries are allowed to change, and you don't owe anyone an explanation for that as well, or either. Very much, as I said it rang very true deep within me. This is about letting go of people attached to old versions of you. Letting go of situations in your life that are attached to old versions of you. Self-exploration. Peel off the false persona and get to know yourself to find your truth. So again, about the masks, about peeling behind the masks, peering behind the masks. Asking yourself why you want what you want. What's the story attached to it? What are you getting out of it? What is your fear keeping you safe from? And what version of yourself, of your life, do you really want to create? And then why aren't you doing that? Practice gratitude. Take time to acknowledge what you're grateful for. Gratitude is the great multiplier. Gratitude will amplify this process. Start a gratitude journal. Do that for 30 days. Really look for things to be grateful for. Did you hit all the green lights in traffic? Did you get a really good parking spot? Did you get a great deal at a store? Did you talk to someone you haven't talked to in a while? Did you get some kind of favor in way? Was there a really smooth encounter? Or did you get acknowledged for something? Or did you have a really embodied creative moment? Did somebody smile at you? Did you find a penny on the floor? Train your brain to look for things to be grateful for, and that is a huge step in changing your perspective. And changing your perspective can literally change your life. That's how powerful your perspective is. Ground yourself. Get grounded in your body and connect back to earth. So go outside and do 20-minute guided meditations under a tree in a park in your backyard. Get grounded. Go step outside for 5 minutes during sunrise or sunset. Put your feet on the dirt or the grass and be here now. Be in the moment for just a few minutes. Connect to yourself, connect to the earth, the planet you live on that gives you everything you need. It sustains you. It literally helps keep you alive. I think it's about learning to be embodied. Because this new version of you, it's these new choices you're making, and it's really unfamiliar in a lot of ways. And so it's really learning to reconcile who you are now versus who you used to be, and seeing it manifest in your life. But it is part of that integration process that's happening, grounding the energy into yourself. So really integrating who you are now. And as that happens, the timeline, it feels like it accelerates, and even more things attached to past versions of you fall away quicker and quicker. Get unstuck, get past your fear of change, and embrace the transformation. So that's a huge message coming through. You even have the stuck energy card. This is about getting unstuck, getting past the fear, doing it scared. Embracing the transformation. That word, again, has been very big in the reading. So there's a huge rebirth energy coming through. Like you are emerging from your cave. You're emerging from something that could have destroyed you, but it didn't, because you're a hell of a lot tougher than you think you are. It's also getting out of your head, getting out of your own way. The root chakra is out of balance. I feel like the heart and the root are connected. And so learning forgiveness, love that which needs forgiveness. As silly as that sounds, the things that need forgiveness, they're calling for love. And unforgiveness is really only weighing you down. Because other people probably don't even care if they're forgiven or not. That's why it truly is for you. Because you're the one carrying that weight. It's about laying it down. But it's also about being really rooted and grounded, being really connected to who you are. And it's also about, again, grounding in this new version of you. This two competing selves, and the old one is slipping away with these last ditch triggers and efforts to hang on. But the new you is like being rooted and grounded into your energy and the choices you make and the boundaries you hold, the habits that you contribute to your daily life. But it's believing in yourself, knowing who the fuck you are, and knowing that nobody can tell you shit. Like you done been through it. You've done been putting in the work. Everything I've said here is just confirmation. Like, you are that bitch. You are that one to be aware of. Like, they don't see you coming, but you're about to be revealed. Your light literally shines so bright. And you're going to have to pass out shades. Because people are going to tell you, oh, you're too bright. Dim your light. And before you would have done that. And now you're like, hell no. Matter of fact, go get your own shades. I'm not even going to provide them anymore. I'm no longer going to provide the shades. Go shield your own damn eyes, you wussy. Like, let your light burn their retinas. Let it. Don't dim your light for anyone. Don't dim your shine. Know who the fuck you are. And home needs TLC. Give your home some attention, redecorate, clean it, or sage it. Clear out some of that cluttered energy. Dust something that hasn't been dusted in a while. That also is this observer effect. It's about paying attention. And sometimes when your mind is messy and chaotic, it will help you to clean something in your outside environment. It helps the reflection of that internally in the mental space. It helps to kind of clear out the clutter of the mental space when you do that in your own home. Okay, so I guess now I will share the messages. I didn't expect this reading to be this damn long because my readings normally aren't. I've gotten pretty good at keeping them slightly past an hour or just at. But this one's way past. And I'm telling you, I wanted to pick everybody. Okay, so new mindsets, and new mindsets on love too. You did it scared, and I think you're going to be called to continue to do it scared. The final push through. Someone saw an easy path to ascension. They were dead wrong. Your ancestors will deal with them. And I do feel like somebody saw you as an easy path, a fast pass to their ascension, and they were so far wrong, and your spirit team does not play about you. Your ancestors will deal with them accordingly. Something unlocked or unblocked. Something has definitely been unblocked, and again, it could be a tower moment. It could look like something's falling apart, but the reality is it's falling into place. It's something is getting out of your way. Freedom from limitations. There have been mindsets or limitations that have held you back, but you're being freed from those. And again, you are the one that holds the key. You are the key. So it's self-limiting beliefs as well that you're being released from, that you're being freed from. Raise your prices, start small and build up, scale up. That came up so much more in the reading than I expected it to, but it's also don't undervalue yourself. Don't undervalue who you are and what you bring to the table. Messages keep coming. There were so many at the end there, like they just kept coming. And I feel like you're bombarded with messages constantly. They just don't always necessarily make sense. Trust your intuition and peel back your own layers and fall in love with who you are, who you've become, who you've been, and who you're becoming. Embody your soul essence. Illuminate. Illuminating and exhilarating. I feel like there is an excitement in the air as you emerge from the darkness, from the caverns, from the shadows, from the mist, and you're completely unrecognizable in so many ways, and you're literally so bright, like you're gonna burn their retinas, and you're just gonna have to let it happen and not feel like it's your responsibility to fix anyone or to help anyone figure you out or understand you or experience you. It's not your job to do that. Your job is to be you, not to navigate how others experience you. Your job is simply to be you. To be you. You're the best version of you that you could be. Nobody could be a better you. But I do feel like you need to take care of yourself more. Hold your boundaries, do those 30-day challenges, work on unblocking your chakras. There are some really great short chakra meditations. I'm telling you, guided meditations are where it's at. Water manifestation, where it's at. Give yourself and your home some TLC and trust yourself. You're going to figure it out. You always have. And also, Jesus is the one driving, so chill out. Chill out. Gussie got this. I love you, and I hope that helped.